Hey, it's Nicole again, and welcome to this tutorial. We'll be talking about maths operators, and maths operators is what you'll be using to do calculations throughout your code. So I'll tell you what the basic ones are. So you've probably seen these before, but well, if you haven't, I'd be worried. But okay, so here's the basic addition operator. That's obviously for adding numbers together. Here's the subtraction operator. It's for minusing numbers or subtracting one number from another. Here's the multiplication operator for timesing one number by another. Here's the division operator for dividing one number from another. And here's one you might not recognize. It's the remainder operator. And it divides one number from another and it gives you the remainder left. So yeah, those are the basic ones you'll be using. So with doing calculations, if you're doing one that will result in a decimal number like 1.5 or something, an integer will not give you a correct answer. Okay, I'll give you an example of that. See here, I've got int A, int B, and also double A and double B. They're both set to the same numbers, so in theory these calculations here should provide the same answer. So to test that out, I'm printing the answer to both of these equations to see if they are both the same answer or if one of them is not. Okay, here we go. And as you can see, the integer has just come back with 0 because integers don't deal with decimal numbers, so it will just jump to the whole number. And the double has actually done the calculation correctly and it's giving you the right answer. So if you're thinking about doing like calculations that you're not really sure or have decimal numbers, it's probably best to go double, because integers can give you incorrect answers and it can make more things incorrect as your program goes on. But integers are fine if you're just dealing with whole numbers. Okay. So if you're using whole numbers but it's going to be a longer answer, then it's better to go with a long, because longs will deal with quite big numbers. So I'll give you an example for that. I'll have to type it out. Okay, so I'll put long answer equals, what have I called it, long A times long B. And as you can see, that's going to be a very big number. So I'll just copy that because I'm being lazy. And I'll see what the answer is going to be. Just comment this out because we don't want all of it coming up. Okay. And as you can see, that's an extremely big number. That'd be too big for an integer. Okay. For the next part of the tutorial, I'll be showing you about incrementation. Now, as you've probably seen in my code, or in the last tutorial, it shows these two plus signs after a variable. Now what it does is it adds 1 to that variable, or adds 1 to the number. But there's two different ways of doing it. You can either add the two pluses at the start or at the end. Now the difference is, if you put at the end, it won't add the 1 until after the code is executed. So when you print it out here, you'd expect it to be 11 because it's adding 1, but it only adds the 1 after it's already been printed out. So I'll show you here. This will be 10, and since that's already been printed out, it will add the 1, and then when you print this out, it will be 11. So here you go. And here we go, 10, 11. It hasn't added it on the first one, but it's added after the first print line has been executed. But if I change it around and put the pluses at the start, it should be 11, 11. And here we go. It's because it's printed, it's because it's added the 1 before it's printed out, because you've got the pluses at the start. Now this actually works the same with, this probably doesn't sound right, but decrementing, when you're taking 1 away. If I print that out now, it's 10 at the start and then 9, because it doesn't decrement until after it's been printed out. And that's the same with the other way around too. Since it's at the start, it will decrement before it's printed out, just like the addition, or just like the 2 pluses. Okay, so if you have any questions about anything I've just covered, let me know. Just leave a comment down below, and I'll try and get back to you. Now I'll show you where I've used the maths operators in my game. Here we go. Here's an example of some multiplication and some addition. There's also a maths method which gets a random number, but we won't talk about that at the moment. Here's an example of casting, which I will be showing you in the next tutorial, I think. And here's an example here of addition. And the equals and plus signs means that it's the user balance. The answer is the user balance plus them two. So it's adding itself to the equation as well. That's what the plus after the equals means. It would be the same if it was equals minus. It would be that minus them. So I'll change it back so it still works, because I don't want to break it. I'll see if I've used any incrementation or decrementation, because I'm pretty sure I would have. Oh, of course I've used it at what we were looking in the last tutorial. For the counter, it adds 1 to the counter after every loop. So here's an example of incrementation. So I think that's all for this tutorial. I hope it's helped, and if you've got any questions, as I've said before, leave it down below, and yeah, go on to the next, go on to the activity, and then yeah.